Sky Sports coverage of the Premier League, brought to you by EA Sports FC.
Welcome back to Saturday Social, where we're joined by Flex, Abby and Pippa and Joe. The whiteboard is back out. We are going to talk all... And Joe, yes, of course. Yeah, important cog in the show. We're going to talk about Man United in this part. A lot of chat this week. Busy week for United. Obviously, they did progress eventually against Coventry, did win against Sheffield United, but struggled in both. A lot of talk this week has been about what players are likely to stay and go and who should stay and go. Obviously, there's stuff coming with the manager as well. So we thought this was the perfect opportunity to talk all things Man United.
Yeah, absolutely. Loads of Manchester United fans wanted us to chat about this. Obviously, Ineos taking charge. There's a lot of debate about the squad at the moment. So we're going to go through the entire Manchester United squad. Any player that's performed for over 50 minutes in the Premier League this season. There's 24 names to run through. Flex, you're going to tell us whether you think Ineos should keep them or should look to move them on in the summer. Abby and Pip are going to give us their thoughts from the neutral perspective as we go along.
They're both smiling at this.
Grinning. Yeah, grinning. Me and Flex are in tears.
Obviously, the tick means stay, cross means go. Just to help you out with that, first up, should we start with the keeper? Onana, again, player that a lot of talk on. Where do you stand with Andre Onana?
Yeah, he's had a mixed season. Terrible start. Really, really bad. The Champions League campaign that he had was so bad. Making big mistakes, big errors, really uncharacteristic of him as well. And he's got a big character. And in many interviews he said, "I know I'm not this guy. Like, I can't go from being one of the best keepers in Europe in the Champions League final, this, that, and the other, to where I am at now. It's temporary." And he's managed to sort of stabilise himself, apart from against Sheffield United the other day when he didn't pass the ball with enough.
What's that face all about?
Enough vim on it. But overall, I think. I would still keep him.
You'd keep him.
I think overall he's had a good season.
Pippa, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's too soon to ship him off. I mean, he still needs time to adjust, even though he's had pretty much whole season. I think that's one to keep.
And he faces about 1,000 shots a game. Let's not forget. I think he's faced the second most shots in the entire Premier League this season. Like, it's not an easy job being the goalkeeper in Manchester United.
Also, like your back line has been so mismatched because of injuries as well this season. So
most shots on goal this calendar year of all the top 4 leagues.
But the defence in front of him hasn't been particularly good either. So yes, he's made individual mistakes, but he was a decent keeper at Ajax. He was good at Ajax. He was good at Inter. So I feel like maybe with a more consistent back four in front, maybe he'd be more confident.
Brought us perfectly on to the back four, Abby.
Yeah.
Expertly done. Let's talk about the defence.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Now, I really like Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I think he's got such a unique skill set that not many right-backs actually have with his 1v1 defending.
But
if we're looking to kick the team on and be better, I think it's time. I think it's time to sell Aaron. And I say that through gritted teeth because I think he's been a fantastic servant. When you need him to come in big games, and for so long when Dalot was supposed to be the out-and-out number one, he had other ideas, and he's so professional, just gets his head down, he just works. But I just think as the team evolves, he will probably find his game time less. And
1 year left on his contract, Pip, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with Flex here. But to be fair, out of the two, I would have felt, in terms of squad, Aaron Wan-Bissaka will be the one that you keep instead of Dalot, but between the two of them, one of them has to go.
Because Dalot's been really good.
I think Dalot, for me, has probably been United's player of the season.
From an outside perspective, I think...
Let's talk about Dalot. Let's get Wan-Bissaka up.
So
Dalot up as well.
Sorry, Aaron. Sorry, mate. If you're watching, bro, sorry. Diogo Dalot, absolutely, Joe. It hasn't been a great season. In terms of stand-up performers, not many candidates as well. Good. Dalot, Garnacho, Mainoo's come in late, so only really those three you're looking at for player of the season. Dalot's an easy one, he's fine.
I'd agree with that, actually. I think a lot's made of United in a negative perspective because of the season, but he's actually had a really good season.
So I'd agree very good season. Yeah. Youngster, Willy Cambuala, started a couple of Premier League games, had an amazing game against Liverpool. Not so good game against West Ham, which was his... Actually, no, he was OK in West Ham when we lost 2-0, but he still played all right. Bournemouth, he had a difficult time against Dominic Solanke, but he's young.
Only 19.
Only 19, one for the future.
Yeah, well,
definitely got to
sure.
stay.
Definitely got to
stay. OK, next up.
Harry Maguire.
Can I just say, I think Harry Maguire recently has been exceptional. He's like a model pro, Harry Maguire. And I think over the last month, he's probably been Man United's best player. He's come up with big goals, big moments defensively. I think
I
Some
think
of the treatment he's had over the last season has been a disgrace.
I agree. I think it's always the amount of time you see a goal conceded, and you'll just see Harry Maguire, and a lot's made of it. I think there's so much unfair criticism of him. It's just class or little things. The FA Cup semi-final, as soon as they scored the winning pen, shook every Coventry player's hand. Little things like that.
Other players are off celebrating.
I just thought that was a class act, personally.
I do think
Where do you
that.
stand
And
with him?
actually, it also comes into what Ineos have to do in terms of the amount of business that has to be done at centre-back. Lindelof's got a year left, which they've given him an extension to, so he's sellable. Johnny Evans is probably just going to leave on a free. Rafael Varane...
Well, we're going to come on to these.
We'll
So
get to it. So I'm just saying, like, it actually helps his case in terms of staying, though.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say stay.
Where do you stand, Pip, for Harry Maguire?
Yeah, it's a hard one because you've mentioned there's so many other centre-backs that you have to deal with in their future. But I feel like the rejuvenation of his career in the recent months and this season has been really, really good. But at that standpoint, I think that if you want to move the team forward within the next year, this will be the good time for him to go when he's leaving on this note rather than the negative notes he had previous seasons. But like there's too much.
Well.
Yeah,
He's the most sellable.
you'd get a lot more money for Harry Maguire. But like you said, there's a lot more movement that needs to be done. So
Can't sell everyone, though.
No,
exactly.
and that's what I mean. There's a lot of
Yeah.
business to do this.
All fairly positive so far.
Next up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rafael Varane.
I love Rafael Varane. Those who watch like the content that I do know that he's like my favourite player. I just think he's
Out of
he's
contract
so good.
this summer.
Out of contract this summer. If I'm looking at it with what it is, it's going to be time, I think. Also, he's going to have to, if they do give him a new deal, it's going to be on reduced terms. He's at a different stage of his career. I just can't see it happening. Injuries as well.
Abby, what are your thoughts? Is a big... I mean, we all know what he's done in his career, incredible, but he's only been available for 58% of games.
Yeah, it's not much. It's not much. And I think that, again, he's out of contract. It's time to move on. I think United need a new spine of the team, and I think it's not to say that he's not been a great player or contributor, but you need to rip it all out and start again, for me.
So you'd all agree with that, Varane?
Yeah.
When he plays, he's fine, but it's just not available
Just
enough.
also...
Yeah, I think he's only been available for about 50% of the minutes across his Premier League
58%, yeah.
career at Manchester United.
Johnny Evans. What a guy. What a guy. By how Man United should be run, no disrespect to Johnny Evans, he shouldn't be there. But he's a great club servant, a top pro. And any time he's played, from being ridiculed that Man United have got Johnny Evans again, to actually, hang on a minute, he's been one of our best defenders.
Played 19 Premier League
Do you know what I
games,
mean?
age
And played very well in them. I'm going to say we need to move on from him, but again, he's a low cost. You can have him about the place. Yeah, coaching role. So do you know what? For respect, I'm going to say keep him, but as long as it's like coaching role in the background, it's another player to have on the books because there's so much to do there. But really, he should be going. He should be. No, actually, no.
It's sell. It's a sell.
This is
He's contradicting himself. Usually a guest contradicts himself there.
Let's keep moving through. Let's keep moving through. We've got to keep
Victor
it close up.
Lindelof's an easy one. Sell. He's got a year left. You have to sell him in the summer. Oh, he's going to go for free. I think that's an easy one.
Wow, quick one.
Lisandro Martinez, ravaged with injuries this year. Really, really unlucky. Definite keep. Top player.
9 Premier League appearances.
Yeah, such a shame, isn't it? I think that's had a big effect for us.
Luke Shaw, for me, it's time. It's time.
Wow.
Yeah, he's been
Is
here.
it?
It's time,
Wow.
mate. It's time. Like, I'm a big fan of Luke Shaw. When he's fit and firing, he's a good left back. But again, there's so many times where he's unavailable.
I do think, though, when he's available, and I understand, I take the point that when he's not available, we are talking about one of the best left-backs in the league. He's so physical, he can move into midfield. We've seen him be able to invert and play on the overlap. And I think a part of the reason that Rashford has struggled so much this season is because Luke Shaw's not fit. When he played 30 games last season, Rashford was at the best we've seen him in his career.
Even Luke's, over his span since he's arrived from Southampton to now, how many good seasons has he actually had?
Well, a lot of that, to be fair, to cover that, a lot of that has been injury. I think he started 30 Premier League games twice in 11 seasons, so that's down to injury.
And at what point, again, if you're Ineos, you're looking, I need a reliable left-back who's going to be there every game.
Where do you stand on Luke Shaw? Because he's still, for many people, England's best choice, first choice left-back. You still see him now, when you do the 1-11, even when he's injured, people say Luke Shaw, obviously Chilwell, there's other players, Chilwell, Trippier, that play there. But that's quite a big statement for a Man United fan to want to sell him.
I get it because of the injuries. Like, when you were just reading that about how many seasons he's actually started, 30 games, like, that's crazy in 11 years. So I get that. I wouldn't necessarily sell him, but I'd be interested in keeping him because of what he can bring when he is fully fit. But I think he probably wouldn't be your starter moving forward because of that. But if he's fit,
when
then
he's fit, it's fine, but I just know...
You'd need to bring someone else in to make sure that's covered, because I see your point with the Rashford thing.
It's not Luke's fault. He's been just really unlucky, but it's a long time.
All right, let's get him out.
Wow.
I'm going to say so.
Okay.
Surprised at that one.
Yeah, me too. Okay.
Casemiro.
Right, into the midfield now.
Sell.
Oh, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Expecting that.
yeah, definitely.
Just quickly, why were you?
The only reason I wasn't expecting that is because you can't get rid of all the grown-ups. And I know, obviously,
grown-ups.
You can't. Look at Chelsea. If you, in comparison, they've got rid of all of their key senior players. Well, most of their key senior
experienced players.
And that's one player you need, whether they're playing or not. You need them in the squad.
What do you think has happened to Casemiro this season? Because last season was really impressive. Do you think it's the system, or do you think maybe the injuries?
Mixture of things. It's not just Casemiro's all of a sudden completely rubbish and. He's lost all his legs and he can't play football anymore. That hasn't happened in one summer, has it? Man United, look, we're facing record amount of shots. The midfield balance is not there. The back four is ever changing. So it doesn't matter who plays in midfield. They all get run past. They all concede loads of chances. But, with the longevity of what we're trying to build at Man United, Casemiro's got 3 years left on massive wages. If Ineos and Saudi come in to take Casemiro, Manchester United won't say no, in my opinion. And they shouldn't say no.
OK, let's get him on. Let's keep moving through.
And Sofian Amrabat, I was at the World Cup. I saw this guy in person. I was one of the biggest advocates to bring him to Man United. I was wrong. That's it. There's no. They say you shouldn't just go for a player after a World Cup, etc. James Rodriguez, etc. But I saw him, in that Moroccan side, and he was brilliant. But it hasn't worked out. It's a loan. We need to make sure that stays as a loan and we don't make it permanent.
OK, moving on. Next one.
Christian Eriksen. Time has come.
One of your old players, Abby?
Yes, but I can see it's time for him to go, for sure. I think the legs aren't there. Maybe the driving force of what all he was good at just hasn't been there as much this season for me. I think
he was a vital player for United.
Vital.
Yeah.
Vital. But the emergence of Kobbie Mainoo, Eric even said it in a presser. He was like, Kobbie Mainoo's emergence is just, what can I do? And that's only going to intensify next year.
But you can see the difference of a season, because last season we wouldn't have said Casemiro.
That was the starting midfield pair last season.
Yeah, good point.
And won a trophy.
Also, you have to bring age into that as well. Like, they are a little bit older.
They're both 32.
So, they're coming into that stage where you need more energy and more legs in midfield, and maybe they just don't have that anymore.
Yep.
Speaking of more energy, more legs.
Scott McTominay, I think gets a rough ride at times. I think what Eric Ten Hag has managed to do with Scott McTominay is actually find his best role within the team, which is being a squad player. We all know that when everybody's fit and he's got his team that he wants, Scott doesn't start many games, but coming off the bench can get you a goal. He plays him further forward, doesn't get him involved as like this double pivot, six link-up. No, that's not his game.
At times.
Just get him in the box. He can get you a goal. Good squad player, gets his head down, top pro, and, use him in and off the bench. 7
Premier League goals this season. Not bad.
Yeah.
Top.
Obvious one.
Yeah.
The most obvious. Would you take him to the Euros?
You go,
100%.
You just go.
Would you start him at the Euros?
No. What's going on up there?
Basically, Kobbie decides who stays. That's how important he is.
He's 100% in the squad. Did you ask me if he starts?
Would you start him for England?
Oh, there's so many midfield options, but maybe not straight away. It depends how well they do in the group stages. I don't know if he starts.
Yeah?
I would. I think him and Rice in there is a nice little mixture. Personally.
Yes, absolutely.
Rice, Mainoo, Bellingham.
Yeah,
that as a 3.
That's as a 3. I mean,
Foden, Saka, Kane. That's
yeah.
6.
And then you can also bring in Palmer if you need to.
Oh, it's exciting, isn't it?
It's
Getting excited again for the Euros.
I think that midfield 3 is for England is top. Don't know if he'll go for it, but
we'll see.
Should.
Who have we got next?
No reason to talk about Kobbie Mainoo. Mason Mount. 100% keep.
Yeah, definitely.
Look, in the fan base, sometimes it gets a bit split. What's the plan? Why have we bought this guy so much money? Yeah, some Man United fans can't see the plan. They think it was a bad buy. Listen, to be able to judge Mason Mount for the money that he was bought this year is impossible because he's had a torrid time of injuries. Yeah. I think he's a really good footballer. I think he'll find his feet. And when the team gets more settled, I think he'll have a good season.
Agree. Yeah, super versatile. Injuries have just been such a shame for him this season.
Absolutely.
And previous to this, I know the last season at Chelsea was quite injury hit. Didn't have that injury record at all. So fingers crossed for Mason, he can get back to full fitness.
Bruno Fernandes, the captain, I would keep him. Absolutely.
He splits opinion, doesn't he?
Split opinion,
fans, which is crazy for me. Because we are talking about one of the best creators in European football. He's created more chances than any other player in Europe's top 5 leagues this season. He leaves everything on the pitch. He bleeds Manchester United. When you go to, the training ground or anything like that, he's everywhere.
Why does he split opinion then? Because looking at it from the outside, his numbers, he's someone that's so integral.
Well, I think because some sects of the Manchester United sort of fan base see the sort of way he acts on the field as a negative, whereas I think that's just Bruno. That's his character, and I think that that's what he's used to get to the stage he's at right now, which is one of the best attacking midfielders in world football.
Surely they've got to keep him,
Yeah,
Man United.
There's a lot of people, honestly, to play devil's advocate, because I want to keep him, but a lot of people think, you know, the way he plays the game, he gives the ball away quite cheaply. You can't build a midfield.
Do you not think that's the role he's being used in?
But I think that I think if the team is, you know, function how it should, which it clearly isn't, Bruno is the perfect, you know, cherry on top. Like he's
Well, if you look at his stats, his goals to game and assists, his numbers.
And you
Are
look at
good players around him.
Yeah.
If you look at you were to sell him, everybody would have him.
Yeah, I wouldn't sell him. I wouldn't sell him.
No.
Okay.
Anthony. Tough time.
Sell him.
Massive money.
What would you
spent
two
on
do?
him.
I would sell him.
Yeah? Cut losses already?
Yeah, that's that Nicolas Pepe.
A lot of money they spent on
it's
him,
a lot
wasn't
of money.
there? 26 appearances, no goals, 1 assist this season.
Just
disappointing. Without sounding harsh, I mean, it's disappointing.
Yeah.
that's a Ten Hag signing, like fully. So that's one that
Completely
he
on
has
him.
to own.
Yeah. And if the right money came in for him, if you're Ineos, you're looking, okay, well, let's have a look at it. There's already going to be a loss. Spent 80 million on him. It's not working out, and I just don't see it changing.
Okay.
No.
Moving on.
Alejandro Garnacho, one of our star boys, one of our really good youngsters who have kept us going this year. Brilliant. You know, starting so many games.
Goal of the season as well.
Goal of the season.
33 starts in a row, I think.
Yeah.
For Garnacho,
Brilliant.
which is just an amazing number when you're a 19-year-old playing for a
running to the
team
ground.
that's in and amongst the top six. That's
You're
huge.
saying keep him, but does he want to stay?
Of course he
Ooh. Literally it the other way round.
Just checking.
We just ignore. No,
No, but that does worry me.
Say,
Honestly, that does worry me.
I mean, in the next
think
year
he's
or
got-
two, does he want to stay, really?
Do you think he'll
If
be
it
looking
carries on?
elsewhere, do you?
He's got a history in Madrid,
Potentially,
hasn't he?
yeah.
United signed him from Atletico.
He's still so young. He's such a good player. You don't want to be... If you're not going to be the player that's carrying your team like a Cole Palmer, you kind of get pushed down into that pecking order. It's like, is he even good enough? You start to question if he's good enough because he's not... His team's not performing well. Not now, but in the next one or two seasons.
I think he'll be right for the next couple of
gotta
years.
keep him.
Yeah.
You've got,
Yeah, keep him, obviously.
Keep showing ambition enough to be able to keep these types of players.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
yeah. Amari Forson hasn't played a ton this season. Had a look at him at senior level. I would keep so we can go out on loan and let's see where he fits in. He hasn't really had a...
Yeah, I think the lowest
will
minutes
tell.
of any...
Yeah, all the youngsters
Squad in
this
the
year
Premier
can
League.
stay.
Yeah, 3 Premier League appearances.
Ahmad, I don't know what he's got to do to get a start. So many Man United fans are saying, why is Erik ten Hag not starting this kid? Not just because of the heroics against Liverpool when he come off the bench, but just in general, the way he keeps the ball, the way he uses the ball, the decisions that he makes is far better than Anthony. There is no Jadon Sancho. Marcus Rashford, not good on the right-hand side. Garnacho's got to do it all. So for me, Ahmad must stay and finally get a run in the first team for me.
What do you think of
Good argument.
Ahmad? You'd keep him as well, would you?
Yeah, I would keep him. I totally agree with Flex. I don't understand what he has to do to get a start, because every time I've seen him or he's come on, he's looking really impactful for me. I think that you've got so much good young talent. Like, we can just see that from what you're putting up on the board. So I feel like with the right investment with Ineos, whatever you're going to do, it's a big job to do to get out some of the older heads or people that have been there a long time, like we're going to talk about next, Anthony Martial. But that's what you need to do. You sometimes got to rip it up, and you're going to go through that really difficult transition.
Do you think he'll start today?
He's got.
Why not? Why not?
Well, Ten Hag, to be fair,
Yeah.
just doesn't start him. But
he
there's
should.
no way.
It's interesting that a lot of United fans want him to start, don't they? As you said earlier.
He's got to
Someone
start.
that the fan
starting.
base really like,
Honestly, he's such a good player. You can see it.
Stick him on them.
Got to stay.
Because we've got some big debate
think
points
we've got
coming up. We've got
two
one of
more-
the... I think we've got a few more than
few
two
more.
players left, haven't we?
Well,
Martial, wow,
that's
okay.
saying, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You put that up there incredibly quickly, Flex.
Honestly, listen. When he came to the club, came with such huge potential. Started off really well, and I've been a big advocate for Martial in terms of how good he is when he's fit. But the lack of consistency. He's been at Man United now probably
Feels like
3 years too long now, and the injury. He hasn't completed 90 minutes in like 3 years.
He's still only 28, though.
Yeah, so many injuries. So for him, for United, for the fans, for the Institute, it's just best that they part ways. And, he's on a massive, massive contract. He's going for free as well, so it's not like the original 50 million that Man United spent. We're going to recoup any of that. It's time.
Who's next?
Marcus Rashford.
I think this is probably the biggest debate point, isn't it, on this list amongst Manchester United fans and football fans. Before we get to the United fans' opinion, what's the neutral opinion? He's been linked with Arsenal this week.
I know, I saw that and I was like, interesting. I
You'd
feel
take
like
him though, wouldn't you?
I feel like they've left it a season too late. Rashford's left it a season too late or 2 seasons too late to move on. I feel like now there's all this bad PR. He's not performing well. It's going to be a lot hard. It's not going to be hard for him to get a move. He's a talented player. England.
Fabulous player.
When you think of Manchester United, you think of Marcus Rashford.
Yeah.
Comes to mind straight away in the starting 11.
He's synonymous with the football club.
Yeah.
You're right.
So I'm not sure what the take is with this one. I mean, I wouldn't get rid of him if I was.
Would you
take him at Arsenal though? Yes.
I'm not sure. I mean, obviously everyone's saying that he would perform well, and like Arteta could change him and get the best out of him, but we don't know that. I'm not 100% sure if I would take him. Obviously, I would love the more talented players, the better. I would love a Rashford at my team, but I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. I'm on the fence.
What do you think about Rashford?
I agree with Pippa. I think, again, maybe the new contract, I think, has put United in a situation here. He's earning, what, 350 grand a week. Obviously, he signed a new contract. So United are kind of tied into him because I don't see you're going to be going on potential, right? If someone comes in, there's all these things with PSG, they're going to come in and free him of the contract and get him off the books. But if I'm looking at him based on this season, like, why would I go and spend a big transfer fee, also have to match the wages on that? For me, he's just not consistent enough. I know last year he had a great season, but then the season before wasn't really up to scratch. He's very much like this. Obviously, there's a lot of heat that's on him, and I do feel sorry for him a lot of the time because off the pitch, obviously, the stuff he
Some
does,
of the hate he's received.
amazing.
He spoke about that in the week, didn't he?
As a person, he's seems like an amazing person, but I feel like maybe it's just not what United need. And I think for him, I think he needs a fresh start.
He is.
Personally,
Okay. Where'd you put him?
It's difficult as a United fan because he's come through the academy. You really want to see him do well. You back him. You don't like seeing this version of Marcus Rashford. You're seeing him as he doesn't look himself. There's been a few outbursts on social media and different things that are happening off the pitch, and you never know what's going on off the pitch. But
I think he's got every right to defend himself on social media.
I think he does. But for me, I just think sometimes the timing of certain statements or interviews, I just think sometimes haven't been the best. But it's what we see on the pitch. And when you play for Man United and you sign the big deals for the big money, it comes with expectation just in general. And I think abuse should always be stamped out. Like, that is a non-negotiable. But criticism is what football is all about. And I think people who have been criticising Marcus Rashford's performances this year come from disappointment, come from, I know you're better than this. Something's not right. And I'm seeing a player who maybe looks like he could get a fresh challenge.
So where you think?
I would say.
I'm
unfortunately going to go, I think, a new challenge.
Yeah,
Are you?
I agree.
Wow.
I think he needs
I'm
to start
surprised
somewhere.
at that.
I think he would be amazing for another club.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I'd be so worried.
I think a
about
lot's
that.
made of, you say about his inconsistency, I think a lot is made of Rashford when he's having the low moments, but we forget that actually when he's in form, like last season at one point had one of the best goals to games of any player. Quickly, last player, it's a tap-in, isn't it?
Easy, Rasmus.
Have you got
That's all we're going to have
Rasmus
time
Højlund?
for, I think.
Yeah.
I know,
Fine.
10 mark.
Perfect. So there we go. So there is confirmation. Højlund, easy one for Flex, which I think would agree.
Yeah.
Tap in to keep. There is confirmation of the players that Flex, as a United fan, would keep and which ones he would sell. Thoroughly enjoyed that. A few surprises in there, Flex.